Zoe Wilson Elliott, Keegan Littlefield, Cameron Milgrant, Randy Milgrant, and Cameron Milgrant. So I guess I repeated Cameron twice, but I think he's going to be with his sister. Okay, yeah, great. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Nancy?
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to showcase the students that are in the music festival. And I'd also like to thank the coaches, either parents or teachers, that have put hours, and the students who have put hours and hours and hours of work into perfecting their performance. So thank you.
Absolutely. Well, let's give them a round of applause for that. We absolutely appreciate that. Because although these students do a lot of the work, and they'll do the work here this evening, it was only through the good teachings of the parents and the tutors that have helped them along. So if we could have them up, please. How would you like that, Judy, up here? Up at the front, and then
Then we can turn the mics on.
put the mics.
How many can go on? How many can go on at one time?
I think 3. Hey, Roberta? 3 should be okay? Okay. And then that way the kids can face the camera.
Oh, we can just do maybe one at a time. Do you want to do them one at a time so they have a spotlight?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Let's do them one at a time. Sorry,
Or is
man.
that good?
Okay. So first we've got Laura Swirsky, according to this. And I hope I said that last name correctly. Thank you. Okay, Laura. And this is Any Prince to Any Princess.
Any Prince to Any Princess by Adrian Henry. August is coming, and the goose, I'm afraid, is getting fat. There have been no golden eggs for some months now. Straw has fallen well below market price, despite my frantic spinning, and the sedges, as you rightly point out, withered. I can't imagine how the pea got under your mattress. I apologize humbly. The chambermaid has, of course, been sacked, as has the frog footman. I understand that during my recent fact-finding tour of the Golden River, despite your nightly unavailing efforts, he remained obstinately froggish. I hope that the 3 wishes granted by the Board of Trade will go some way towards redressing this unfortunate recent sequence of events. The fallen output from the shoe factory, for example. No one could have foreseen the work to rule by the National Union of Elves, not to mention the fact that the court has been fast asleep for the past 6.5 years. The matter of the poison apple has been taken up by the Board of Trade. I think I can assure you the incident will not be repeated. I can quite understand, in the circumstances, your reluctance to let down your golden tresses. However, I feel that I must point out, the weather isn't getting any better, and I already have a nasty chill from leaning at the base of the White Tower. You must see the absurdity of the situation. Some of the courtiers are beginning to talk, not to mention the humble villagers. It's been 3 weeks now, and not even a word. Princess, a cold, black wind howls through our empty palace. Dead leaves litter the bedchamber. The mirror on the wall hasn't said a thing since you left. I can only ask, bearing all this in mind, that you think again, let down your hair, reconsider.
Thank you so much, Laura. Now we have Zoe Wilson Elliott.
My Parents Have the Flu Today by Jack Proletsky. My parents have the flu today. They both are sick in bed. But thoughts of what to do today are swimming through my head. My nimble brain is burgeoning with ways to misbehave. Perhaps I'll give my brother's teddy bear a haircut and a shave. Perhaps I'll make a mud pie in my sister's stupid hat. Attach my mother's earrings to the puppy and the cat. Attach carrots to the ceiling, stuff bananas into shoes. Set the clocks to different times, it's certain to confuse. I'll switch the salted sugar, scatter meatballs on the rugs, hide spaghetti in the closets, and refrigerate some bugs. I'll paint my father's underwear an iridescent blue. My options are unlimited. My parents have the flu.
And now Keegan, Littlefield, please.
I bought a pet banana by Ken Nesbitt. I bought a pet banana and I tried to teach him tricks, but he wasn't any good at catching balls or fetching sticks. He was terrible at playing dead. He was terrible at playing dead. He couldn't jump a rope. When he wouldn't do a single trick, I simply gave up hope. He refused to shake or wave or crawl or beg or take a bow. And I tried but couldn't make him bark or get him to meow. Though I liked my pet banana, I returned him with regret. Boy, I sure do hope this watermelon makes a better pet.
Thank you, Keegan. Next we have Cameron Milgrant.
My Sister by Cameron Milgrant. I zapped my sister to the moon. I made her invisible too. When Mom and Dad got home from work, they did not know what to do. I made her spill her chocolate milk. I put a small mouse in her shoe. When she saw the mouse, she screamed and ran to Timbuktu. When my sister went to sleep last night, I shaved off all her hair. Then I let my brand new puppy eat all her underwear. Do you believe my story? I want it to be true. But if you do, then you're an April Fool's.
And next we have Randy Milgrant and Cameron back again.
When Frankenstein was just a kid by Ken Nesbitt. When Frankenstein was just a kid, he ate his greens.
It's true, he did.
He ate his spinach, salads, peas, asparagus, and foods like these. And with each leaf and lima bean, his skin became a bit more green.
On chives and chard, he loved to chew, and Brussels sprouts, and peppers too, until he ate that fateful bean that turned his skin completely green. He turned all green and stayed that way, and now he frightens folks away.
Poor Frankenstein, his tale is sad, but things need not have been so bad. It's fair to say, if only he had eaten much less celery, avoided cabbage, ate no kale,
Why? Then we'd have a different tale.
and that is why I'm here to say, please take these vegetables away, or my fate could be just as grim.
Yes, I could end up green like him.
So Mom and Dad, before we dine, please give a thought to Frankenstein.
Thank you so much again, Nancy. I just want to hand these out. And then if we could get, I think Dave wanted a group picture. Sure.
I hope you noticed that Cameron's poem about his sister was written by
Great job.
Cameron.
Thank you.
I hope he copyrighted it.
Great job.
And would you actually do that to your sister?
Shake hands.
Probably.
Great job, Walt. Thank you. Great job. And I guess just a quick pic.
You bet, just in the front here. And
And thank you again, parents, so much for all of your efforts in making this happen. We absolutely appreciate it. And again, Nancy, what could we do without Nancy? Thank you, Nancy.
Well, the Estevan Public Library is actually the one that got contacted first. No, I don't need to be in the
Okay, good. Did we get everybody just to squish together?
Okay.
And,
I hope I didn't take you out, Sarah. Not yet.
and hold up your certificates or your prizes that Roy gave you. Yeah, that's the
You, Laura,
Yeah.
Roy.
Great, thank you.
Awesome. Let's give another round. Thank you. You're all welcome to stay, but I know you're probably busy, right? We get that all the time.
I thought the dentist was in here, there's one of those things we.
The lady.
To get through council?
I have presents.
Yeah.
You just want what's inside anyway.
Yeah. Lady gets the cut
Okay, well, that was very enjoyable. Moving forward, could I have a motion, please, to adopt the agenda as presented? Councillor Hoffert, seconded by Councillor Frank. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, could I have a motion, please, for the minutes of the council meeting held on March 26, 2018? Thank you. We've got Councillor Yanish and Councillor Nibbs. Any questions on that? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under original communications, delegations, and petitions, we have the letter from the town of Latman and the Arm of Browning asking 911 assistance, and I believe city manager, what they would like is to have Helen help them out until they get their people up to speed, roughly something like that?
Yes, Your Worship. It's just to have an authorized Sask Alert user representative until they have someone trained up.
Okay, thank you very much. So what's the wish of council on this? I think it's a reasonable request. Councillor Nibbs?
I think we can fill it in, why wouldn't we?
Yeah, Helen's, I'm sure would be willing to help out in this regard, so you're willing to make that motion? Okay, thank you. Have we got a seconder? Thank you. Councillor Frank, any questions or comments on that? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, we have from the Estevan Area Literacy Group, we've got Dear Ludwig, Mayor Ludwig and City Councilors. The Literacy Group office is currently housed in the Estevan Public Library. We pay $250 per month to the City of Estevan to rent a space. Our group relies on grants to pay our expenses. Due to the economic downturn, many of the grants that we were able to receive in the past have further restrictions, and we are either unable to apply or may only apply less often. Our funds have steadily decreased this past year. Currently, we cannot meet the demand for certain programs as they exceed our resources. We would like to highlight that some of our literacy programs benefit clients who otherwise would not receive any support. Please assist our group to remain a viable part of the community. We are asking council to excuse our rent for a period of 1 year. We are hopeful that as the Saskatchewan economy improves, so too will the opportunity to receive grant money. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Marilyn McCutcheon, Chair, Estevan and Area Literacy Group. What's the wish of council? Councillor Vroba?
Thank you, Your Worship. I was just thinking, at first I was wondering why we didn't actually have a financial statement from them to just show what their assets were, what their income was, their expenses. And also, we gave it back to the city manager with all of these requests, this type of request. So I'd like to just give it to the city manager, and he can maybe have some discussion with them, find out what their financial situation is, and if it's in our budget with his allotted, I think it was 5,000 or 6,000, 5,000 in the year, that it come out of that money, if that's what he'd like to do.
Okay, thank you. City Manager, then I'll go to Councillor Nibbs.
Thank you, Worship, to Councillor Baroba. Yeah, the reason we brought this is when we get requests to City of Estevan, we deal with it. Because the letter was dictated to Mayor Ludwig and City Council, it has to come to open. So if that's your wish, we can definitely proceed that way.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Nibbs.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely would want to see that $250. That's $3,000 just about at the end come out of our fund that we'd set up, because it would really almost use it all up. The $250 isn't going to change, and I think it's important to keep that group going. They've only asked for 1 year. To me, I would like just to move forward and say, get rid of that if everyone else is in favor, and go from there.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Nibbs. So you'll make that a motion that
Yep.
moving forward? Okay, have we got a second? Okay, Councillor Yanish. Further discussion, comments? Councillor Vroba?
Yeah, the only reason I'm not in favor at this time is only because they haven't provided us with any type of financial statement. At this point, we have no idea if they have any assets, what they're actually providing. I personally would like more information before I voted, yes, but, I mean, go ahead,
Okay. Would you like us to move this to the next meeting, and then with that, have the financial report, and then probably the intention to pay? Councillor Vroba, would you feel better about that?
I personally would maybe vote yes if I had more information, but again, the motion's on the floor. If everyone else would
Okay.
like to vote tonight,
Would you
that's
be
fine.
willing, Councillor Nibbs, to change
No,
that, or? No,
I wouldn't, because I don't think it has any bearing on my
Okay.
vote.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So we've got the motion. Further discussion, Councillor Frank?
I've worked closely with the Estevan Literacy Group, and I know they are a pretty good organization. They operate on pretty limited funds, so I'll probably vote in favor. I think as well with Councillor Nibbs. I think we're not really looking at a cash donation. We're just kind of forgiving rent for 1 year, and they're a pretty good organization. They're right; they do give a lot back to our community. So I would definitely do that as a 1 year agreement.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Frank. Any other further discussion?
Well,
Councillor
just
Hoffman?
thank you, Worship, to Councillor Frank. Maybe you can shed some light on their financial situation. Are they running pretty close to?
I wasn't able to give you specific details, but I know
They don't have a substantial bank account, or?
they don't have any substantial bank account finances or anything like that I can speak to anyways, so.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? If not, ready for the motion? All in favor? Carried. Opposed? Let it be known that Councillor Vroba opposed. Thank you. Okay, thank you for that. Moving forward, again, under original communications, delegations, and petitions, we have from the Habitat for Humanity a request for assistance. Estevan City Council, City Manager Ward, and City Councilor or Council members, thank you for your support in 2017 toward the construction of our first Habitat for Humanity home in Estevan. We very much appreciate your support for Habitat for Humanity, Estevan's chapter's mission to build affordable housing and promote home ownership in our city. We are preparing for our second build in the spring of 2019, so I guess that's next year, Councillor Hoffer. They're probably going to start getting funds together, I guess, maybe this year with the intention of building in the spring, and are requesting the city to consider providing funding support of $10,000. That's what we gave last time, along with the waiver of permitting costs for this home in the same manner as was done on the first one. We understand the council needs a specific request for any financial support, and this letter is provided to meet this requirement. To this end, Habitat asks the Estevan City Council to consider providing the above described support to reduce the purchase price of a residential lot in Matchett Development on Siller Street, adjacent to our first home constructed last year. We appreciate your consideration of this request, and we look forward to your response. Please feel free to contact me, Doug Barnstable. So what's wish of council here? Councillor Hoffer?
Thank you, Your Worship. I think this was always our understanding that it was going to be 2019, and thanks for clarifying that. I believe this is something we should refer to the 2019 budget deliberations in the fall with a view to considering it for the 2019 year.
Okay, that's a fair comment. Thank you, Councillor Hoffer. Councillor Frank?
Just a question, because the last time this happened was before we were on council. The $10,000, did we do that as cash, or did we do that as a credit towards purchase of a lot? Because we do make them purchase the lot, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's from a private developer. They come to the table as well, city manager,
Oh, okay.
right?
That's true.
Thank you, Your Worship, Council Frank. From what I recall, there was a $10,000 cash donation, and then we waived any building inspection type fees that we would have on top of it.
Right, sorry, you're right, I forgot they purchased that one from a private
Yeah.
developer. That would be my
And
one.
they've also lowered the rate on those lots for this type of housing.
Have they? Okay,
Yeah.
that was gonna
That's
be
my
my one
understanding.
question, given, we have a bit of a lot inventory, I was just curious if we could
Yeah.
maybe go back to them and see if they'd be willing to, or accept just a $10,000 credit towards purchase of a lot or anything like that, but if
Okay.
they've got a better deal, that's fine too.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Nibbs?
That's basically, I wanted to just find out was the price of the lot, and maybe we can assist something on one of our lots that we do have, but he kind of answered the question,
Yeah.
so I'm good.
Okay, thank you. So, Councillor Hoffert, was that a motion then to refer to 2019 budget? Yes. Okay, thank you. Have we got a seconder? Councillor Frank? Any further questions? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under original communications, delegations and petitions, we have from the Village of Torquay, from the Mayor, Mike Strachan. The Village of Torquay is writing in regards to the decommissioning of the Estevan Civic Auditorium. The Village of Torquay supports this decision. Many surrounding communities have facilities, including Torquay, available for ice time for the City of Estevan to utilize. The drive to this location and others, including Oxbow, Stoughton, Alameda, Beanfate, Latman, and Mydale, is similar in length to the drive those in bigger centers like Regina would expect. The Village of Torquay has also, like the other communities mentioned above, in the past, allocated grant donations to the City of Estevan for the construction of Affinity Place, which was, to our understanding, to replace the aging Civic Auditorium. We feel that with the declining use of smaller communities' recreational facilities, that the City of Estevan and surrounding communities need to work together to utilize the millions of dollars worth of facilities that are within the Estevan drawing area. So that's from the Mayor of Torquay, Mr. Mike Strachan. So could we have a motion, please, to accept the letter? Thank you, Councillor Vroba, seconded by Councillor Nibbs. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under original communications, delegations, and petitions, we have from the Southeast Transportation Planning Committee the minutes of March 27th. Now, Councillor Moore is not here tonight because he's in Regina at a transportation planning meeting, and he will be attending the new budget in the morning. So he's not here to make that motion. Do we have someone to step forward and make that motion this evening? Thank you. Councillor Nibbs, seconder. Councillor Yanish. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, next, under written reports of committees, we have from our Economic Development Officer a request for the Smart Cities application. This is submitted by Dwight Bramble. Background and discussion, the Smart Cities Challenge. Now, this is an opportunity for us to enter in this competition that's open to all municipalities, local or regional governments, Indigenous communities, First Nations, Inuit, and Métis across Canada. This challenge will empower communities across the country to address local issues their residents face through new partnerships using a smart cities approach. A smart cities approach means achieving meaningful outcomes for residents through the use of data and connected technology. This approach can be adopted by any community, big or small. Finalists will receive support to develop their smart cities proposals. Winning communities will be awarded with prize money to help implement them. In this case, we're looking at about $250,000. With reference to the City of Estevan's participation in the Smart Cities Challenge, I am kindly requesting a resolution in open council indicating the council fully supports and is fully committed to the preliminary proposal submitted by the City of Estevan through Dwight Bramble, Economic Development Coordinator, City of Estevan. This resolution and accompanying letter from the Mayor will satisfy the requirement of question 14 of the Smart Cities application, which says, in accordance with your governance structure, Provide evidence of the commitment to your preliminary proposal from your community's leadership. This can be a letter of support with signatures from your mayor, chiefs, or equivalent, or a council resolution, a band council resolution, etc. So what we're asking for tonight is a resolution to support the application to the city's challenge. Thank you, Councillor Yanish. Have we got a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Frank. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Fitz has spent a lot of time on that. My goodness, I think we'll forward it on to council. I think it's like a 10-page, 20-page dissertation. It's quite an involved application. So next, under executive reports, we've got from Public Works, Road and Drainage, and we have our manager here tonight, Mr. Mack. We have the loader tender. Now this is 2018 wheeled loader. The City of Estevan lease purchase a 2018 John Deere 644K loader from Brand Tractor Equipment with shops located in Estevan, Weyburn, and Regina, with same-day field techs on standby with a price of $320,000 before applicable taxes. Brand Tractor Equipment has the lowest bid of the tender competition that completely met all of our specifications and criteria in the 2018 City of Estevan loader tender. The conclusion: the front-end loaders play a vital role in the operations of Roads and Drainage Department and are a daily workhorse through all 4 seasons. Updating equipment is important because most of our work is of an emergency nature, such as snow removal and water breaks. With the loaders attached to our 2 front mount blowers, it's imperative that the loaders are reliable with the correct model and specifications to carry these heavy blower attachments. Currently, we use John Deere 644 loaders to operate our large front mount blowers. The combination of these 2 machines are a good pairing, and a loader less in size, weight, and horsepower would be of no use. The John Deere 644K will replace an aging loader in our fleet, a 2004 JD 644J with 13,760 hours that has served the City of Estevan well, but repair and maintenance costs are excessive, with questions of dependability. The Roads and Drainage Department has fielded questions and asked for advice from local contractors in regards to various makes of loaders, their serviceability and dependability. The Doosan and Hyundai loaders were lower in price but failed to meet the City of Estevan specifications and criteria outlined in the 2018 tender. The JD 644K loader will be leased for 5 years with $1 outright purchase at the end of the 5-year term with a 4.99% interest rates. The tender opening was open to all participants on Tuesday, March 20th at 2:30 p.m. in the City of Estevan Council Chambers. This recommendation of this report requires City Council approval. And Norm, did you have anything to add before?
No, the report really speaks to itself. We did a lot of investigation and we went over the Doosan. It was a lower price loader, but it just didn't meet our specs. And the serviceability, there's no shop in town. And to have their service techs come down to Estevan each time was going to cost us $1,000 in mileage. And parts, it's a North or South Korean model. And with talks to contractors within the city, contractors, they say parts are iffy for that machine. The John Deere, we have 2 of them now, or 3 of them now, and we have same-day service.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Norm. And the parts, if they're coming from South Korea, could probably in some cases take weeks or...
That's correct. I was told sometimes loaders are down weeks. Okay. And when we have a storm, winter storms, we can't have what it'll do is put a loader down for weeks plus a blower. And I just think we can't have that.
Okay, thank you, Norm. Councillor Nips?
Norm, so is this adding an additional unit then?
It's not, it's replacing one.
So what is the trade-in value, or what are we doing with that unit?
Well, we're waiting to speak to Brandt and hoping that he'll give us a trade-in value on our used one. And,
Just sorry, why wouldn't we have put that in our tender then with an amount of a trade-in as well then? Because if someone's maybe 3,000 or so less here, but give us 20,000 more on the trade.
and we talked about that too, and we did. We'd rather see a cash outright purchase price of that loader, so we know what we exactly are getting for money-wise. But, that we could have went that way, but we didn't, and so the other option is if we're not happy with that, we'll, with the approval of council, we'll send it to auction.
Okay, thank you, Norm. Thank you, Councillor Nibbs. Any further questions from council? If not, have we got a motion from council? Councillor Vrova and Councillor Hopper? Okay, any further questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, Norm. Next, under executive reports, we've got from our building official, the building permit report for March 2018. Could we have a motion, please, to accept that as presented? Councillor Frank, thank you. Thank you. Councillor Yanish, any further questions? If not, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, under introduction of bylaws, we'll ask for first reading tonight of bylaw 2018-1995 to amend bylaw 2005-1709 pet licensing. Now help me out here, City Clerk. I think some of the main changes, like for the dogs and cats, we used to ask like $100 a year, every year, or something like that. Now we're just asking, which is a lot more common sense to get everybody involved, $35 for the life of the pet. I think, Councillor Nibbs, that was your suggestion, so we can get more people involved in the licensing and track it better. I think that was a good idea. So we have got quite a few changes. Anything else, City Clerk, you wanted to comment on?
Your worship, the actual penalties if you don't license your animal, they increase.
Okay, thank you.
But that's the most major change.
Okay,
well, thank you very much. Go ahead, Councillor Nibbs.
Just one other thing, are we going to make this mandatory on adoption of pets then? We had talked about that, making it when they adopt pets, that they automatically have to get a license as well in the city of Estevan. I know that there's the SPCA and all them do it. They could just add it right on. It's a lifetime, it's a one-time charge. I think we had.
Yes, go ahead, Councillor Vrova.
Thank you, Worship. Right in here, it states a $35 licensing fee is waived if animal is adopted from the Estevan Humane Society. So it was put in here, but it was just waived. So the animal would be licensed, is what I'm reading, for no dollars. Right, so it is in there, yeah.
Yeah, it does state, and thank you, Councillor Vrova, the 35 licensing fee will be waived, so hopefully that takes care of that concern. Okay, so what we're asking tonight, Council, is to get the first motion tonight. Then we'll advertise for a couple of weeks and get communication from our electorate back and forth, and then, okay, go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Worship. Sorry to interrupt. I just had one more thing. I know the Humane Society had talked about wanting to take over the licensing. Is that something we've ever entertained, or we're happy with the fact that we still do the licensing here?
Well, that's a good point. I'm not sure if we discussed that much in length at the police board.
Yeah, I know that they had mentioned to me at one point that they would like to take over the licensing for the fact that it would be another way for them to earn funds.
Okay.
So.
Well, what we could do is still give it first reading tonight, and then we can make the necessary changes for second and third reading if you like, and we can have some discussion with the Humane Society. Councillor Nibbs?
Yeah, that was the one thing I was confused on, is I didn't think it was free. I thought the $35, they would collect it and it got to stay with them, is how it was. I didn't know we were doing it for free. I thought they got the money, it was extra money for them with their new building and things like that.
Go to the Humane Society,
Yeah,
and then
when they
we would
adopted
respect that toward the license.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reword that. Yeah.
Okay, we can do that, Councillor Frank?
Well, and that would be my comment is, any of this, I think it's better that we administer it probably for the sake of the police force. I'm sure they're going to want to know who's got licenses and things like that. So it's probably better that it's administered under our umbrella, but the finances of it, I'm quite happy if we use that as a source of funding for the Humane Society. I think that's a good cause for it. So.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Hoffer?
Your worship, I wonder if we shouldn't consult the Humane Society on this. I mean, maybe it may limit the amount of adoptions, or maybe they might have some concern if we're tacking another $35 onto the adoption price of a cat.
Well, no, I think our intention, Councillor Hoffert, was that they pay the 35 and then we waive our licensing. That they would get the money. Yeah. City Clerk, did you want to add to that?
Yes, Your Worship, they were consulted. This was put together by the bylaw enforcement officer in conjunction with Chief Lattiser. And so they did contact the Humane Society and they approved this, so.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Thank you, City Clerk. So if we could tonight, we'll give first reading and then we'll get more feedback. Go ahead, Councillor Frank.
I was going to say, if the Humane Society's approved this, then I would be in favor of moving forward with this, and then where the money goes can be something we debate at budget time.
Okay, thank you. So do we have a motion this evening to give first reading? Okay, thank you, Councillor Frank. Seconded by Councillor Nibbs. Any further questions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay. Next, under public hearings and reports, we have none this evening. Thank you, City Clerk. Under giving notice, we have Human Values Day proclamation. Whereas the Walk for Values is dedicated to raising awareness of basic human values and encourages individuals to be an agent of change for universal peace and harmony. Whereas the Walk welcomes individuals, families, and communities of all races, faiths, beliefs to join together and walk for the basic human values of truth, right conduct, peace, love, and nonviolence. Whereas City of Estevan strives to build an inclusive society that serves as a model of diversity for cities across the world. Therefore, I, Mayor Roy Ludwig, on behalf of Estevan City Council, do hereby proclaim April 24th, 2018 as Human Values Day in the City of Estevan. Could we have a motion to accept that proclamation as I read it out, please? Councillor Nibbs, seconded by Councillor Frank. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. The other one, under giving notice, is Operation Clean Sweep. And we have May 14th. City of Estevan crews will be clean sweeping the City of Estevan north, east, south, and west entrances of the city and outlying areas. May 15th, City of Estevan crews will be clean sweeping all city properties, including green spaces such as boulevards, medians, parks, and natural areas. May 16th, north, City of Estevan crews will be helping you clean sweep by picking up your contained, so wrapped up organic waste material, twigs, leaves, yard refuse in your front driveway. Branches must be bundled in 3-foot lengths. Leaves and yard refuse must be bagged. All items must be in your driveway before 8 a.m. on May 17th. Callbacks will not be happening in areas, so please make sure items are out in time. See the map online at www.estevan.ca for divisions. May 17th will be the same in the south. May 18th to 21st, free landfill weekend applies to the City of Estevan residents only. Free on appliances not included, no hazardous waste material either. Residential waste only. Friday 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Monday 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And City Manager, I imagine that'll be on our website as well. Thank you.
Yes, Your Worship, that'll be pushed on social media, and I believe we will have someone speaking at the radio as well to promote that event.
Okay, thank you so much. Any questions or comments from any of council members? Okay, Councillor Frank?
I just hope it's spring by then.
Yes, my goodness, I sure hope so. It's been a late one, hasn't it? You what?
I need to add one more to that giving.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to bring that up in inquiries, or did?
Oh, I thought we had to put on.
Oh, okay, sure. Well, let's add that in giving notice. City Manager, I'll turn it over to you, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd just like to let everyone know that there will be construction going on at the old concession at the Leisure Center. This is a transformation of the tourism booth to be at the leisure center instead of out on the highway, as we had noted before. I know some people, I've heard comments that is this administration decision, has this been discussed? So I thought at this point it'd be pertinent to have council either oppose it or discuss it. It was something that was proposed in budget that was kind of went through, but we should have something in open to have council's input into that.
Okay, thank you, City Manager, for bringing that forward. And yes, it was agreed to in budget, but what would the council members like to? Okay, Councillor Hoffert, then Councillor Vroba.
Thank you, City Manager. I think this is something that we have given some discussion to in budget. I think it is a good idea. We've received statistics about the declining usage of the facility on the highway, and a lot of others are closing their facilities. The province of Saskatchewan is doing just that due to declining interest, and things are changing, and the way people access their information on community is in a large part gone internet-based or other sources. So I think having that staffed at the Affinity Place is a great idea, and it seems to me in the reports I've read that it's cost neutral, if not a cost savings after it's all said and done. So I would be happy to support this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Hoffert. Councillor Vroba.
Thank you, Your Worship. I also would support it, and we did talk about it. I know that there was talk out there about it not coming to council, and maybe that's a mistake we made by not putting it more in open, but truthfully, the leisure center is our hub. I mean, most people that are coming to the city as a visitor, they go to the leisure center, whether it's for sporting, library, swimming. You know, we have a lot of different things there, so I would be in support of it being there because I think that's where it belongs.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Vroba. Councillor Frank.
I'll just echo quickly what Councillor Hoffert said, and forgive the ignorance of my age, but I've never stopped at a tourism booth, and I think most people in the newer demographic or younger demographic are using the website, and our new estevan.ca website, which is a great place to go check out. I'm going to put that little plug in there. Has done a great job of really showing off our tourism a lot better than I think a community paid for restroom on the side of the highway is doing, which is really all our tourism booth has become, unfortunately. So I definitely support this.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Frank.
Forgive me, Your Worship, but is the councillor suggesting we all fall in a different demographic and are, dare I say, old, or what's he saying?
No, I mean, all of us councillors are young and hip and into the website stuff.
Thank you, even though it would appear I'm supposed to have my horse tethered out back. But anyway, Councillor Dibbs.
Yes, I'm young like him as well, so I've never used a booth. I would also support it, and like Shelley and Greg said, I do think if you're coming to Estevan, it makes sense to have everything there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and we will have the proper signage, City Manager, for the vehicles going by. First of all, how to get to the leisure centre, where the new location is, and probably a few other things that they can access on their cell phone.
Yes, Your Worship. So we've looked in things like a special app, a sign with a code that your phone can picture, and we should also note that ideally we're going to have the energy tours still scheduled out of the leisure center now. We'll create a booth for the mine tours as well.
Okay, thank you very much. And Councillor Yanish, did you have anything to say? You look happy? You're in agreement?
I don't have much of a voice today, so I'm
Okay.
just gonna be quiet.
Okay, you're going to go with the flow tonight?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, well, thank you for that, everyone. Moving forward, motions from committee tonight, we have none. Consideration of bylaws tonight, we have none. Inquiries, Councillor Hoffert.
Thank you, Your Worship. No inquiry, but just considering the $3,000 contribution we made earlier tonight and having a few more minutes to consider Councillor Veroba's comment there, I think it's probably a good practice in the future that when someone is requesting a substantial contribution, and I consider that somewhat substantial, that it wouldn't be harmful to just ask prior to it coming to council for a copy of some financial records. So,
Sure.
Thank you.
As a matter
Just
of
wanted to
course.
state that because I've kind of reconsidered since the vote, so that's fine. I do support this group, a great group, and I think Councilor Rowe does as well. I just think as a practice in the future, it might be wise.
No, that's fine. Thank you. Councillor Hoffert, Councillor Vroba.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Councillor Hoffert. Yes, 100% I support the Estevan Literacy Group. You feel free to welcome, send me an email and talk about it. But no, I do support it. I just would like to have seen their financials before. Just a little bit more effort put into requesting financial support is all that I would ask. But I 100% would have supported it with more information. The other thing though is on Saturday, this Saturday, May 14th, or April 14th?
April,
Sorry, I
thank you.
just went ahead a month. We have at the Elks, it's catered by Mr. Mike's, and it's going to be a dinner theater put on by Sarahs Valley Theater. The proceeds are going to go to the youth camp that's put on there, the drama camp. And so the play is called I'll Be Here. It's got high comedy, high drama, high notes. And in the next few days, if you get your tickets from Hender's Drugs, it's $75 a ticket. $25 is a tax receipt, which is a donation. And the other $50 goes towards your meal and your show. So it's going to be a great time. I will be there, and hopefully you'll get your ticket and support the theater. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Vroba. Councillor Yanish?
I do have one thing I want to say. I want to thank Diane Winham and the staff for last night getting that visual together. It was planned like about 1 o'clock, and social media did a great job. You guys did a great job with the paper and stuff by getting it out there. It was well attended. There was over 300 people. It was very moving. So I'd like to thank the community for coming out to that.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Councillor Yanish, and I echo those comments. And Robert Godfrey did a lot of effort and work in setting up the projector and all of that stuff. So I've sent him a letter thanking him, and a separate one thanking Diane for all of their efforts on short notice. And that was great to see all those people out last night. It was very heartwarming. Thank you. Councillor Frank?
I just have a couple of things going on outside of council life. The Radiothon for Life for the St. Joseph Hospital Foundation is happening on April 18th, so please bring your donations down to the hospital and support healthcare in our community. And the other one that's going on is that United Way's Day of Caring is now accepting applications for projects as well as for volunteers, so if you are in need of some help around the house, please give the office there a call.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Travis, for that. Councillor Nibbs?
Nothing, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. City Manager, anything to add this evening? City Clerk?
Nothing else.
And our City Treasurer is on holidays, so she went on a much-needed rest. So with that, I guess we'll look at a motion moving into committee. Thank you. Councillor Vroba and Councillor Yanish. All in favor? Carried. We stand adjourned. Thank you so much and good night.